ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी। हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण। Sami Prabhu, can you please continue? I think I have some work for 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. So
Yes,
sorry.
Prabhu, thank you
Hare
so much.
Krishna.
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृण्वतां स्वाकथा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनारित्यन्दस्तोय भद्राणि विदुनुति सुहृत्सतम् नस्तप्रायस्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Shri Vyasadeva, the author. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the person of Godhead who is praised with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Haribol. Hare Krishna, Praveen Prabhu Danda Pram, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Standard Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thanks for joining, Prabhu. Haribol.
Thank you, Hare Prabhu. I thought I was late.
No, Prabhu, I was cooking, so I started now.
Hmm. I think we are going to start a new chapter now, today.
Yes, Prabhu, chapter 9.
Chapter 9, yes.
You want to read first?
Yeah, I can read.
Very thank you, Prabhu.
Chapter 9, Brahma's prayers to Brahma's prayers for creative energy. Text 1. Brahmovacha ज्ञातोऽसि मे द्ये सुचिरान् ननु देह भाजां न ज्ञायते भगवतो गतिरित्यवद्यं नान्यत् त्वद् अस्ति भगवन्नपि तन्न शुद्धं व्यतिकराद् यद् उरुर्विभासि. Synonyms. Brahma Uvacha. Lord Brahma said, Jnataha, known, Asi, you are, me, by me, Adya, today, Suchirat, after a long time, Nanu, but, Deha Bhajam, of one who has a material body, na, not, Jnayate, is known, Bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead, Gatihi, course, iti, so it is, Avyadyam, Avadyam, great offense, na anyat, none beyond, tvat, you, asti, there is, Bhagavan, O my Lord, api, even though there is, tat, anything that may be, na, never, Suddham, absolute, Maya, material energy, Guna Vyatikarat, because of the mixture of the modes of Yat, to which Uruhu, transcendental, Vibhasi, you are. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Lord Brahma said, O my Lord, today, after many, many years of penance, I have come to know about you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality. My Lord, you are the only knowable object because there is nothing supreme beyond yourself. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not the absolute. You exist as the supreme by exhibiting the creative energy of matter. Is there any purport for this verse? Yeah, purport. The highest peak of the ignorance of the living entities who are conditioned by material bodies is that they are unaware of the supreme cause of the cosmic manifestation. Different people have different theories regarding the supreme cause, but none of them are genuine. The only supreme cause is Vishnu, and the intervening impediment is the illusionary energy of the Lord. The Lord has employed his wonderful material energy in manifesting many, many wonderful distractions in the material world, and the conditioned souls, illusioned by the same energy, are thus unable to know the supreme cause. The most stalwart scientists and philosophers cannot therefore be accepted as wonderful. They only appear to be wonderful because they are instruments in the hands of the illusionary energy of the Lord. Under illusion, the general mass of people denies the existence of the Supreme Lord and accepts the foolish products of illusionary energy as supreme. One can know the supreme cause, the supreme personality of Godhead, by the causeless mercy of the Lord, which is bestowed upon the Lord's pure devotees like Brahma and those in his disciplic succession. By acts of penance only was Lord Brahma able to see the Garbhodhaka Sai Vishnu, and by realization only could he understand the Lord as he is. Brahma was extremely satisfied upon observing the manifest beauty and opulence of the Lord, and he admitted that nothing can be comparable to him. Only by penance can one appreciate the beauty and opulence of the Lord, and when one is acquainted with that beauty and opulence, he is no longer attracted by any other. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 2:59. Param drishtva nivartate. Foolish human beings who cannot endeavor to investigate the supreme beauty and opulence of the Lord are here condemned by Brahma. It is imperative that even that every human being try for such knowledge, and if anyone does not do so, his life is spoiled. Anything that is beautiful and opulent in the material sense is enjoyed by those living entities who are like crows. Crows always engage in picking at rejected garbage, whereas the white ducks do not mix with the crows. Rather, they take pleasure in transcendental lakes with lotus flowers surrounded by beautiful orchids. Both crows and ducks are undoubtedly birds by birth, but they are not of the same feather.
Interesting that here it was ducks and not swans.
Hmm.
Yeah, they live in
I think you created a video as well on the same point.
Yes, Brahma.
Yeah, I think that ducks belong to the same category of swans as well. So that's the
Yes,
reason why
Prabhu. They do the same. They do the same
yes,
things.
yes. Text 2. Rupam yadetad अवबोध रसोदयेन शश्वन् निवृत्त तमसः सद् अनुग्रहाय आदौ गृहीतम् अवतार शक्तैक बीजं यन्नाभि पद्म भवनाद् अहम् आविर् आसम्. Synonyms: Rupam, form; eth, which; etat, that; avabodha rasa, of your internal potency; udayena, with the manifestation; shashvat, forever; nivritta, freed from; tamasaha, material contamination; sat, anugrahaya, for the sake of the devotees; adav, originally in the creative energy of matter; grihitam, accepted; avatara, of incarnations; Satayeka Bijam, the root cause of hundreds; yet that which; Nabhi Padma, the navel lotus flower; Bhavanat, from the home; Aham, myself; Avihi, Asam, generated. Translation: The form which I see is eternally freed from material contamination and has advented to show mercy to the devotees as a manifestation of internal potency. This creation is the origin of many other incarnations, and I am born from the lotus flower grown from your navel home. Purport: The three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara Shiva, the executive heads of the three modes of material nature, passion, goodness, and ignorance, respectively, are all generated from Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, who is described here in by Brahma. From the Kshirodakasahi Vishnu, many Vishnu incarnations expand at different ages in the duration of the cosmic manifestation. They are expanded only for the transcendental happiness of the pure devotees. The incarnations of Vishnu, who appear at different ages and times, are never to be compared to the conditioned souls. The Vishnu Tattvas are not to be compared to, nor are they on the same level as deities like Brahma and Shiva. Anyone who compares them is called a Pashandi or infidel. Tamasaha, mentioned herein, is the material nature, and the spiritual nature has a completely separate existence from Tamaha. Therefore, spiritual nature is called Avabodha Rasa or Avarodha Rasa. Avarodha means which means that which completely nullifies. In the transcendental, there is no chance of material contact by any means. Brahma is the first living being, and therefore he mentions his birth from the lotus flower generated from the abdomen of Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. Text is 3. नातः परं परं यद् भवतः स्वरूपम् आनन्दमात्रम् अविकल्पम् अविद्धवर्चः पशा पश्यामि विश्वसृजम् एकम् अविश्वम् आत्मन् भूतेन्द्रियात्मक मदस्त उपाश्रितोऽस्मि. Synonyms. Na, do not. Atah param, hereafter. Parama, O Supreme. Yet, that which. Bhavataha, of your lordship. Swarupam, eternal form. Anandamatram, impersonal Brahman effulgence. Avikalpam, without changes. Avidha Varchaha, without deterioration of potency. Pashyami, do I see? Vishwasrijam, creation of the cosmic manifestation. Ekam, one without a second. Avishwam, and yet not of matter. Atman, oh supreme cause. Bhuta, body. Indriya, senses. Atmaka, on such identification. Madah, pride. Te, unto you. Upashritaha, surrendered. Asmin, I am. Translation. O my Lord, I do not see a form superior to your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge. In your impersonal Brahman effulgence in the spiritual sky, there is no occasional change and no deterioration of internal potency. I surrender unto you because whereas I am proud of many material body and senses, your lordship is the cause of the cosmic manifestation, and yet you are untouched by matter. Purport. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 18:55, Bhaktyamam Abhijaranti Yavan Yes Chasmi Tattvataha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead can only be partially known and only by the process of devotional service to the Lord. Lord Brahma became aware that the Supreme Lord Krishna has many, many eternal blissful forms of knowledge. He has described such expansions of the Supreme Lord Govinda in his Brahma Samhita 533 as follows. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Nava Yavvanam Cha Vedush Vedeshu Dullabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is non-dual and infallible. He is the original cause of all causes, even though he expands in many, many forms. Although he is the oldest personality, he is ever youthful, unaffected by old age. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be known by the academic wisdom of the Vedas. One has to approach the devotee of the Lord to understand him. The only way to understand the Lord as he is by devotional service to the Lord or by approaching the devotee of the Lord who always has the Lord in his heart. By devotional perfection, one can understand that the impersonal Brahmajyoti is only a partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, and that the three Purusha expansions in the material creation are his plenary portions. In the spiritual sky of the Brahmajyoti, there is no change of various kalpas or millenniums, and there are no creative activities in the Vaikuntha worlds. The influence of time is conspicuous by its absence. The rays of the transcendental body of the Lord, the unlimited Brahmajyoti, are undeterred by the influence of material energy. In the material world, also, the initial creator is the Lord Himself. He brings about the creation of Brahma, who becomes the subsequent creator empowered by the Lord. Text 4. Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya dhya ध्याने स्म no द्रशितं त उपासकानां तस्मै नमो भगवते अनुविधेम तुभ्यं यो अनादृतो नरक भाग्भिर असत प्रसंगैः. Translation: That the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Va or Idam, this present form, Bhavana Mangala, they are all auspicious for all the universes, Mangalaya, for the sake of all prosperity, Dhyane, in meditation, Sma, as it were, Naha, unto us, Darshitam, manifested, Te, your Upasakanam, of the devotees, Tasmai, unto him, Namaha, my respectful obeisances, Bhagavate, unto the personality of Godhead, Anuvidhema, I perform, Tubhyam, unto you, Yaha, which, Anadrishtaha, Anadritaha, is neglected, Naraka, Bhagbihi, by persons who are destined for hell, Asat, Prasangaihi, by material topics. Translation: This present form or any transcendental form expanded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is equally auspicious for all the universes. Since you have manifested this eternal personal form upon whom your devotees meditate, I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form because of speculating on material topics. Purport: regarding the personal and impersonal features of the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personal forms exhibited by the Lord in His different planetary expansions are all for the benediction of all the universes. The personal form of the Lord is also worshipped in meditation as Super Soul Paramatma. By the impersonal Brahmajyoti is not worshipped, but the impersonal Brahmajyoti is not worshipped. Persons who are addicted to the impersonal feature of the Lord, whether in meditation or otherwise, are all pilgrims to hell because, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 12:5, impersonalists simply waste their time in mundane mental speculation because they are addicted more to false arguments than to reality. Therefore, the association of the impersonalists is condemned herewith by Brahma. All the planetary expansions of the personality of Godhead are equally potent, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 546. दीपार्चिर एव हि दशान्तरम् अभ्युपेत्ये दीपायते विवृत हेतु समान धर्मा यस्त तादृग् एव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविंदम आदिपुरुषम तमहम भजामि. The Lord expands himself as the flames of a fire expand one after another. Although the original flame or Sri Krishna is accepted as Govinda, the Supreme Person, all other expansions such as Rama, Nrsimha, and Varaha are as potent as the original Lord. All such expanded forms are transcendental. In the beginning of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is made clear that the Supreme Truth is eternally uncontaminated by material touch. There is no jugglery or of words and activities in the transcendental kingdom of the Lord. All the Lord's forms are transcendental and such manifestations are ever identical. The particular form of the Lord exhibited to a devotee is not mundane, even though the devotee may retain material desire, nor is it manifest under the influence of material energy, as is foolishly considered by the impersonalists. Impersonalists who consider the transcendental forms of the Lord to be products of the material world are surely destined for hell. Text 5. Etu tvadiya charanambuja kosha gandham जिघ्रान्ति कर्ण विवरैः श्रुतिवातनीतं भक्त्या गृहीत चरणः परया च तेषां नापैषि नाथ हृदयाम्बु रुहात् स्वपुंसां. Synonyms: A. Those who, to, but, Tvadiya, your, Charana, Ambuja, lotus feet, Kosha, inside, Gandham, flavor, Chigranti, smells, Karna, Vivaraihi, through the channel of the ears, Shruti, Vata, Neetam, carried by the air of Vedic sound, Bhaktya, by devotional service, Grihita Charanaha, accepting the lotus feet, Paraya, transcendental, Cha, also, Tesham, for them, Na, never, Apaishi, separate, Nata, O my Lord, Natha, O my Lord, Hridaya, heart, Ambu, Ruhat, from the lotus of Swapumsam, of your own devotees. Translation: O my Lord, persons who smell the aroma of your lotus feet, carried by the air of Vedic sound through the holes of the ears, accept your devotion service. For them, you are never separated from the lotus of their hearts. Purport: for the pure devotee of the Lord, there is nothing beyond the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord knows that. Knows that such devotees do not wish anything more than that. The word tu specifically establishes this fact. The Lord also does not wish to be separated from the lotus hearts of those pure devotees. That is the transcendental relationship between the pure devotees and the personality of Godhead. Because the Lord does not wish to separate himself from the hearts of such pure devotees, it is therefore understood that they are specifically dearer than the impersonalists. The relationship of the pure devotees with the Lord develops because of devotional service to the Lord on the authentic basis of Vedic authority. Such pure devotees are not mundane sentimentalists but are factually realists because their activities are supported by the Vedic authorities who have given oral reception to the facts mentioned in the Vedic literatures. The word paraya is very significant. Parabhakti or spontaneous love of God is the basis of an intimate relationship with the Lord. This highest stage of relationship with the Lord can be attained simply by hearing about Him, His name, form, quality, etc. from authentic sources like Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, etc., recited by pure, unalloyed devotees of the Lord. Text 6. तावद्भयं द्रविण देह सुहृन् निमित्तं शोकः स्पृहा परिभवो विपुलश्च लोभः तावन् नमेत्यसद् अवग्रह आर्तिमूलं यावन्न ते अङ्ग्रियम् अभयं प्रवृणीत Lokaha, synonyms: Tavat, until then, Bhayam, fear, Dravina, wealth, Deha, body, Suhrit, relatives, Nimittam, from the matter of Shokaha, lamentation, Spruha, desire, Paribhavaha, paraphernalia, Vipulaha, very great, Cha, also Lobaha, avarice, Tavat, up to that time, Mama, mine, iti, thus, asat, perishable, avagraha, undertaking, artimulam, full of anxieties, yavat, as long as, na, do not, te, your, angreem, angreem, abhayam, safe lotus feet, pravrinita, take shelter, lokaha, the people of the world. Translation: O my Lord, the people of the world are embraced by all material anxieties. They are always afraid. They always try to protect wealth, body, and friends. They are filled with lamentation and unlawful desires and paraphernalia, and they avariciously base their undertakings on the perishable concepts of my and mine. As long and as long as they do not take shelter of your safe lotus feet, they are full of such anxieties.
Is this 369?
Yes,
396?
396.
Yes, bro. This is amazing verse.
Hmm. Purport. One may question how one can always think of the Lord in regard to his name, fame, quality, etc., if one is embraced by thoughts of family affairs. Everyone in the material world is full of thoughts about how to maintain his family, how to protect his wealth, how to keep pace with friends and relatives, etc. Thus, he is always in fear and lamentation, trying to keep up with the status quo. In answer to this question, this verse spoken by Brahma is very appropriate. A pure devotee of the Lord never thinks of himself as the proprietor of his home. He surrenders everything unto the supreme controller of the Lord, and thus he has no fear for maintaining his family or for protecting the interests of his family. Because of his surrender, he no longer has any attraction for wealth. Even if there is attraction for wealth, it is not for sense enjoyment, but for the service of the Lord. A pure devotee may be attracted to accumulating wealth just like an ordinary man, but the difference is that a devotee acquires money for the service of the Lord. Come down, bro. Service of the Where is it? Service of the Lord, whereas the ordinary man acquires money for his sense enjoyment. Thus, the acquisition of wealth by a devotee is not a source of anxieties, as is the case for a worldly man. And because a pure devotee accepts everything in the sense of serving the Lord, the poisonous teeth of accumulation of wealth are extracted. If a snake has his poison removed and bites a man, there is no fatal effect. Similarly, wealth accumulated in the cause of the Lord has no poisonous teeth, and the effect is not fatal. A pure devotee is never entangled in material worldly affairs, even though he may remain in the world like an ordinary man. Text 7. दैवेन ते हत धियो भगवतः प्रसंगात् सर्वासु भो पशमनात् विमुखेन्द्रिया ये कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेश लवाय धीना लोभाभिभूतो भूत मनसो अकुशलानि शश्वत् synonyms. Daivena, by fate of misfortune, they, hata dhiyaha, bereft of memory, bhagavataha, of you, prasangat, from the topics, sarva, all, ashubha, inauspiciousness, upasamanat, curbing down, vimukaha, Vimukha, turned against Indriyaha, senses, ye, those, Kurvanti, act, Kama, sense gratification, Sukha, happiness, Lesha, brief, Lavaya, for a moment only, Dhinaha, Deenaha, poor fellows, Lobha, Abhibhuta, overwhelmed by greed, Manasaha, of one whose mind, Akushalani, inauspicious activities, Saswat, always. Translation. O my Lord, persons who are bereft of the all auspicious performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and are also bereft of good sense. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a very little while. Purport. The next question is why people are against such auspicious activities as chanting and hearing the glories and pastimes of the Lord, which can bring total freedom from the cares and anxieties of material existence. The only answer to this question is that they are unfortunate because of supernatural control due to their offensive activities performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. The Lord's pure devotees, however, take compassion upon such unfortunate persons and, in a missionary spirit, they try to persuade them into the line of devotional service. Only by the grace of pure devotees can such unfortunate men be elevated to the position of transcendental service. Text 9. Shutrit Tribhatubhir Ima Muhur Ardha Adyamanaha Sitoshna Vata Varashair Itaretarascha Kamagnina Rusha Cha Tudurbarena Sampashyato Mana Urukrama Sidate Me. Synonyms: Kshut, hunger; Trish, thirst; Tridhatu Bhi, Tridhatu Bhi, three secretions, namely mucus, bile, and wind or wind. Imaha, all of them; Muhu, always; Adyamanaha, perplexed; Shita, winter; Ushna, summer; Vata, wind; Varshaihi, by rains; Itarat, and many other disturbances; Cha, also; Kama, Agnina, by strong sex urges; Achyuta Rusha, indefatigable anger; Cha, also; Sudarbharena, most unbearable; Sampashyataha, so observing; Manaha, mind; Urukrama, O great actor; Sidate, becomes despondent; may, mine. Translation: O great actor, my lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretion, and bile, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer, rains, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong sex urges and indefatigable, indefatigable anger. I take pity on them and I am very much aggrieved for them. Purport: a pure devotee of the Lord like Brahma and persons in his disciplic succession are always unhappy to see the perplexities of the conditioned souls who are suffering the onslaughts of the threefold miseries which pertain to the body and mind, to the disturbances of material nature and many other such material disadvantages. Not knowing adequate measures for relieving such difficulties, suffering persons sometimes pose themselves as leaders of the people, and the unfortunate followers are put into further disadvantages under such so called leadership. This is like a blind man leading another blind man to fall into a ditch. Therefore, unless the devotees of the Lord take pity on them and teach them the right path, their lives are hopeless failures. The devotees of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising the foolish materialistic sense enjoyers are as confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma. Text 9. Yavat prathaktvam idam atmana indriyartha maya balam bhagavato jana isha pashyet tavan samsritir asau pratishankrameta. व्यर्थापि दुःखनिवहं वत वहति क्रियार्था synonyms yavat as long as पृथक्त्वं separatism idam this atmanah of the body indriya artha for sense gratification maya balam influence of external energy bhagavata of the personality of godhead janaha a person isha oh my lord pashyet sees tavat so long na not samstritahi the influence of material existence asau that man pratisankrameta can overcome vyartha api although without meaning dukkha nivaham multiple miseries vahati bringing kriya artha per fruitive activities translation O my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material miseries, being influenced by your external energy. Purport. The whole trouble of the living entity in material existence is that he has an independent conception of life. He is always dependent on the rules of the Supreme Lord, both in the conditioned and liberated states. But by the influence of external energy, the conditioned soul thinks himself independent of the supremacy of the personality of Godhead. His constitutional position is to dovetail himself with the desire of the Supreme Will. But as long as he does not do so, he is sure to drag on in the shackles of material bondage. He has to give up all sorts of plans manufactured by mental concoction, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 255, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha gathan, and has to dovetail himself with the supreme will. That will help him get out of the entanglement of material existence. Text 10. अज्ञार्पितार्थ करणा निशि निश्चयाना नानो मनो रथा धिया क्षणा क्षणभंग निद्राह दैवाहतार्थ रचना ऋषयोऽपि देवा युष्मत् प्रसंग विमुखा यह संसरन्ति synonyms Agni during the daytime Aprita engaged Artha distressing engagement Karanaha senses Nishi at night Nishayanaha insomnia Naya Nana various Manaha Ratha mental speculations Dhiya by intelligence Kshana constantly Bhanga broken Nidraha sleep Daiva superhuman Ahata Artha frustrated Rachanaha plans Rishayaha great sages Api also Deva O my Lord Yushmat your lordships Prasanga topic Vimukhaha turned against Iha in this material world Samsaranti do rotate. Synonyms, translation. Such non-devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work, and they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep with various mental speculations. They are frustrated in all their various plans by supernatural power. Even great sages, if they are against your transcendental topics, must rotate in this material world. Purport. As described in the previous verse, people who have no taste for the devotional service of the Lord are occupied in material engagements. Most of them engage during the daytime in hard physical labor. Their senses are engaged very extensively in troublesome duties in the gigantic plants of heavy industrial enterprise. The owners of such factories are engaged in finding a market for their industrial products, and the laborers are engaged in extensive production involving huge mechanical arrangements. Factory is another name for hell. At night, hellishly engaged persons take advantage of wine and women to satisfy their tired senses, but they are not even able to have sound sleep because their various mental speculative plans constantly interrupt their sleep. Sometimes they feel sleepy in the morning for want of sufficient sleep at night because they suffer from insomnia. By the arrangement of supernatural power, even the great scientists and thinkers of the world suffer frustration of their various plans and thus rot in the material world birth after birth. A great scientist might make discoveries in atomic energy for the quick destruction of the world and might be awarded the best prize in recognition of his service or disservice. But he also has to undergo the reactions of his work by rotating in the cycle of repeated births and deaths under the superhuman law of material nature. All these people who are against the principle of devotional service are destined to rotate in this material world without fail. This verse particularly mentions that even sages who are averse to the principles of devotional service to the Lord are also condemned to undergo the terms of material existence. Not only in this age, but formerly also, there were many sages who tried to invent their own systems of religion without reference to devotional service to the Supreme Lord. But there cannot be any religious principles without devotional service to the Lord. The Supreme Lord is the leader of the entire range of living entities, and no one can be equal to or greater than him. Even the Lord's impersonal Even the Lord's impersonal feature and all pervading localized feature cannot be on an equal level with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, there cannot be any religion or system of genuine philosophy for the advancement of the living entities without the principle of devotional service. The impersonalists who take much trouble in penance and austerity for self liberation may approach the impersonal Brahmajyoti, but ultimately, because of not being situated in devotional service, they glide down again to the material world to undergo another term of material existence. This is confirmed as follows: Enye Aravindaksha Vibhuktama Ninas Tvayi Astabhavad Avishuddha Buddhyayah Aruhya कृच्छ्रेण परम पदम ततः पतन्ति अधो अनादृत युष्मद् अंग्रियः synonyms persons who are falsely under the impression of being liberated without devotional service to the Lord may reach the goal of the Brahmajyoti, but because of their impure consciousness and for want of shelter in the Vaikuntha Lokas, such so-called liberated persons again fall down into the material existence. Bhagavatam 10 to 32. Therefore, no one can manufacture any system of religion without the principle of devotional service to the Lord. As we find in the sixth canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the initiator of religious principles is the Lord Himself. In the Bhagavad Gita also, we find that the Lord condemns all forms of religion other than that which entails the process of surrendering unto the Supreme. Any system which leads one to the devotional service of the Lord Any system which leads one to the devotional service of the Lord and nothing else is actually religion or philosophy. In the sixth canto, we find the following statements of Yamaraja. the controller of unfaithful living entities, dharmam tu साक्षाद भगवत प्रणीतम नवैर विदुर ऋषयो नापि देवाः न सिद्ध मुख्या असुर मनुष्याः कुतश्च विद्याधर चारणादया यः स्वयंभूर्नारदः शम्भुः कुमारः कपिलो मनुः प्रह्लादो जनको भीष्मो वैयासकिर्वयं द्वादशैति विजानीन्मो धर्मं भगवतं भक्ताः गुह्यं विशुद्धं दुर्बोधं यं ज्ञात्वामृतम् अश्नुते. Bhagavatam 6:3, 19 to 21. The principles of religion are initiated with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and no one else, including the sages and demigods, can manufacture any such principles. Since even great sages and demigods are unauthorized to inaugurate such principles of religion, what to speak of others, the so-called mystics, demons, human beings, Vidyadharas or Charanas living in the lower planets. 12 personalities Brahma, Narada, Lord Shiva, Kumara, Kapila, Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janaka Maharaj, Bhishma, Bali, Sukadev Goswami, and Yamaraja are agents of the Lord authorized to speak and propagate the principles of religion. The principles of religion are not open to any ordinary living entity. They are just to bring the human being onto the platform of mortality. Non-violence, etc., are necessary for misguided persons because unless one is moral and non-violent, one cannot understand the principles of religion. It is very difficult to understand what is actually religion, even if one is situated in the principles of mortality and non-violence. It is very confidential because as soon as one is conversant with the real principles of religion, he is at once liberated to the eternal life of bliss and knowledge. Therefore, one who is not situated in the principles of devotional service of the Lord should not pose himself as a religious leader of the innocent public. The Ishovasit emphatically forbids the nonsense in the following mantra. Andham tamah pravishanti ye asambhutim उपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो यु सम्भूत्वत्यां रथाः. Ishopanishad 12. A person in ignorance of the principles of religion who therefore does nothing in the matter of religion is far better than a person who misguides others in the name of religion without reference to the factual religious principles of devotional service. Such so-called leaders of religion are pure to be condemned by Brahma and other great authorities. Does anyone want to read or shall I continue?
Hare Krishna.
Trading.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, stand up Ram Jesha Prabhupada. I can read, yeah.
Thank you so much,
Text.
Praveen. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Text 11. Tvam bhakti yoga paribha vitarit saroja ashe shrutekshita patho nanunatha pumsam yadyadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti tattadvapu pranayashe shadanugrahaya. Tvam, onto you, bhakti yoga in devotional service. Paribhavita, being 100% engaged. Rit, of the heart. Saroje, on the lotus. Ase, you reside. Shruta ikshita, seen through the ear. Patha, the path. Nanu, now. Natha, O my Lord. Pumsam, of the devotees. Yat yat, whichever. Dhiya, by meditating. Te, your. Urugaya, O multi-glorious. Vibhavayanti, they specifically think of. Tattad, the very same. Vapu, transcendental form. pranayashe do you manifest Satanugrahaya to show your causeless mercy. Translation: O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their heart becomes cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The statement here that the Lord manifests himself before the devotee in the form in which the devotee likes to worship him indicates that the Lord becomes subordinate to the desire of the devotee, so much so that he manifests his particular form as the devotee demands. This demand of the devotee is satisfied by the Lord because he is pliable in terms of transcendental loving service of the devotee. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.11. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. We should note, however, that the Lord is never the order supplier of the devotee. Here in this verse, it is particularly mentioned Tvam Bhakti Yoga Pralibhavita. This indicates the efficiency achieved through execution of mature devotional service or prema, love of Godhead. This state of prema is achieved by the gradual process of development from faith to love. On faith, one associates with bona fide devotees, and by such association, one can become engaged in the bona fide devotional service, which includes proper initiation and the execution of the primary devotional duties prescribed in the revealed scriptures. This is clearly indicated herein by the word Shrutekshita. The Shrutekshita path is to hear from bona fide devotees who are conversant with Vedic wisdom, free from mundane sentiment. By this bona fide hearing process, the neophyte devotee becomes cleansed of all material rubbish, and thus he becomes attached to one of many transcendental forms of the Lord, as described in the Vedas. This attachment of the devotee to a particular form of the Lord is due to natural inclination. Each and every living entity is originally attached to a particular type of transcendental service because he is eternally the servitor of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya says that the living entity is eternally a servitor of Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. Therefore, every living entity has a particular type of service relationship with the Lord eternally. This particular attachment is invoked by practice of regulative devotional service to the Lord, and thus the devotee becomes attached to the eternal form of the Lord, exactly like one who is already eternally attached. This attachment for a particular form of the Lord is called Swarupa Siddhi. The Lord sits on the lotus heart of the devotee in the eternal form the pure devotee desires, and thus the Lord does not part from the devotee as confirmed in the previous verse. The Lord, however, does not disclose himself to a casual or inauthentic worshipper to be exploited. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita. Rather, by yoga maya, the Lord remains concealed to the non-devotees or casual devotees who are serving their sense gratification. The Lord is never visible to the pseudo devotees who worship the demigods in charge of universal affairs. The conclusion is that Lord cannot become the order supplier of a pseudo devotee, but he is always prepared to respond to the desires of pure unconditional devotee who is free from all the tinges of material infection. Ribol. Actually, this reminds me of the pastime when Lord Hanuman, when the devotee Hanuman, he, um, what we say, he broke open his chest, and then we could see the form of Sita Mata and Lord Sri Ram in Hanuman's heart.
Yes,
So,
Prabhu.
so because Hanuman was inclined towards Lord Sri Ram, so that's why Lord Sri Ram with Sita Mata, they were there in Hanuman's heart. When he
Yes,
broke
Prabhu.
open his heart. Yeah, same thing has been said here in this translation. Yeah, text 12. नाति प्रसीदति तथो प्रतितोपचारैः आराधित शुरगणैर्हृदि बद्धकामैः यत्सर्वभूतदयया सदलभ्यैको नानाजनेष् अवहितः सुहृदन्तरात्मा. Synonyms: no, never, ati, very much, prasidati, becomes satisfied, tatha, as much as, upachita, by pompous arrangement, upacharya, with much worshipable paraphernalia, aradhita, being worshipped, suraganai, by the celestial demigods, hridibadha kamai, with hearts full of all sorts of material desires, yat, that which, sarva, all, bhuta, living entities, dayaya, to show them causeless mercy, asat, non-devotee, alabhayaya, not being achieved, eka, with one without a second, nana, various, janeshwa, in living entities, avahita, perceived, suhrit, well-wishing friend, anta, within, atma, super soul. Translation: My lord, you are not very much satisfied by the worship of the demigods who arrange for your lordship very pompously with various paraphernalia, but who are full of material hankerings. You are situated in everyone's heart as the super soul just to show your causeless mercy, and you are the eternal well wisher, but you are unavailable for the non devotee. Purport: The demigods in the celestial heavenly planets, who are appointed administrators of the material affairs, are also devotees of the Lord, but at the same time they have desire for material opulence and sense gratification. The Lord is so kind that He awards them all sorts of material happiness, more than they can desire, but He is not satisfied with them because they are not pure devotees. The Lord does not want any one of His innumerable sons, the living entities, to remain in the material world of threefold miseries, to perpetually suffer the material pangs of birth, death, old age, and disease. The demigods in the heavenly planets and many devotees on this planet also want to remain in the material world as devotees of the Lord and take advantage of material happiness. They do not so at risk they do so at the risk of falling down to the lower statuses of existence, and this makes the Lord dissatisfied with them. Pure devotees are not desirous of any material enjoyment, nor are they averse to it. They completely dovetail their desires with the desires of the Lord and perform nothing on their personal account. Arjuna is a good example. On his own sentiment, due to family affection, Arjuna did not want to fight, but finally, after hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavad-gīta, he agreed to fight in the interest of the Lord. Therefore, the Lord is very much satisfied with pure devotees because they do not act for sense gratification but only in terms of Lord's desire. As Paramatma or Super Soul, he is situated in everyone's heart, always giving everyone the chance of good counsel. Thus, everyone should take the opportunity and render transcendental loving service to him wholly and solely. The non devotees, however, are neither like the demigods nor the pure devotees, but are averse to the transcendental relationship with the Lord. They have revolted against the Lord and must perpetually undergo the reactions of their own activities. Bhagavad Gita 4.11 states, "Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham." Although the Lord is equally kind to every living being, the living beings, for their own part, are able to please the Lord either to a greater or lesser extent. The demigods are called Sakama devotees, or devotees with material desires in mind, while the pure devotees are called Nishkama devotees because they have no desires in their personal interest. The Sakama devotees are self interested because they do not think of others and therefore they are not able to satisfy the Lord perfectly, whereas the pure devotees take the missionary responsibility of turning non devotees into devotees, and they are therefore able to satisfy the Lord more than the demigods. The Lord is unmindful of the non devotees, although He is sitting within everyone's heart as well wisher and super soul. However, He also gives them the chance to receive His mercy through His pure devotees who are engaged in missionary activities. Sometimes the Lord Himself descends for missionary activities, as He did in the form of Lord Chaitanya, But mostly he sends his bona fide representatives, and thus he shows his causeless mercy towards the non devotees. The Lord is so satisfied with his pure devotees that he wants to give them the credit of missionary success, although he could do the work personally. This is the sign of his satisfaction with his pure Nishkama devotees compared to the Sakama devotees. By such transcendental activities, the Lord simultaneously becomes free from the charge of partiality and exhibits his pleasure with the devotees. Now a question arises. If the Lord is sitting in the hearts of non devotees, why are they not moved to become devotees? It may be answered that the stubborn non devotees are like the barren land or alkaline field where no agricultural activities can be successful. As part and parcel of the Lord, every individual living entity has a minute quantity of independence. And by misuse of this minute independence, the non devotees commit offense after offense to both the Lord and his pure devotees engaged in missionary work. As a result of such acts, they become as barren as an alkaline field where there is no strength to produce. Hare Krishna. Text 13. पुंसाम् अतो विविधकर्मभिरध्वरादैर्दानेन चोग्रतपसा परिचर्यया च आराधनं भगवतस्तव सत्क्रियार्थो धर्मोऽर्पितः करिचित् म्रियते न यत्र. Synonyms: Pumsam, of the people, Atha, therefore, Vividha, Karmabhi, by various fruitive activities, Adhvara, Adhyay, by performance of Vedic rituals, Danena, by charities, Cha, and Ugra, very hard, Tapasa, austerity, Paricharyaya, by transcendental service, Cha, also, Aradhanam, worship, Bhagavata, of the personality of Godhead, Tava, your Satkriya Artha, simply for pleasing your lordship, Dharma, religion, Arpita, so offered, Karichit, at any time, Priyate, vanquishes, no, never, yatra, there. Translation. But the pious activities of the people, such as performance of Vedic rituals, charity, austere penances, and transcendental service, performed with a view to worship you and satisfy you by offering you the fruitive results, are also beneficial. Such acts of religion never go in vain. This is part of devotional service only. Purport. Absolute devotional service conducted in 9 different spiritual activities: hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, praying, etc., does not always appeal to people with a pompous nature. They are more attracted by the Vedic superficial rituals and other costly performances of social religious shows. But the process, according to the Vedic injunction, is that the fruits of all pious activity should be offered to the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 9.27, the Lord demands that whatever one may do in one's daily activities, such as worship, sacrifice, and offer charity, all the results should be offered to Him only. This offering of the result of pious acts unto the Supreme Lord is a sign of devotional service to the Lord and is of permanent value, whereas enjoying the same results for oneself is only temporary. Anything done on account of the Lord is a permanent asset and accumulates in the form of unseen piety for gradual promotion to the unalloyed devotional service of the Lord. These undetected pious activities will one day result in full fledged devotional service by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, any pious act done on account of the Supreme Lord is also recommended here for those who are not pure devotees.
Garibol,
Okay.
one more verse, Prabhu.
Okay.
Let's see if the
Text
yeah,
14. Yeah. Text 14. शश्वत् स्वरूपमहशैव निपीतभेद मोहाय बोधदिशनाय नमः परस्मै विश्वो भवस्थितिलयेषु निमित्तलीला रासाय रासायते नम इदं चक्रमेश्वराय Shashvat eternally, Swarupa transcendental form, Mahasha by the glories, Eva certainly, Nipita distinguished, Bheda differentiation, Mohaya onto the illusory conception, Bodha self knowledge, Tishanaya intelligence, Nama obeisances, Parasmai onto the transcendence, Vishwa Ubhava creation of the cosmic manifestation, Sthiti maintenance, Layashu also destruction, Nimitta for the matter, Leela by such pastimes, Rasaya for enjoyment, Te unto you, Nama obeisances, Idam this Chakrama do I perform, Ishwaraya unto the Supreme. Translation. Let me offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Transcendence, who is eternally distinguished by his internal potency. His indistinguishable impersonal feature is realized by intelligence for self realization. I offer my obeisances unto him who, by his pastimes, enjoys the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. Purport. The The Supreme Lord is eternally distinguished from the living entities by his internal potency, although he is also understood in his impersonal feature by self realized intelligence. Devotees of the Lord, therefore, offer all respectful obeisances unto the impersonal feature of the Lord. The word rasa is significant herein. Rasa dance the rasa dance is performed by Lord Krishna in the company of the cowherd damsels at Vrindavan, and the personality of Godhead Garbhodakshay Vishnu is also engaged in rasa enjoyment with his external potency, by which he creates, maintains, and dissolves the entire material manifestation. Indirectly, Lord Brahma offers his respectful obeisances unto Lord Sri Krishna, who is factually ever engaged in rasa enjoyment with the gopis, as confirmed in the Vedas in the following words: Paradhante sobudhyaya gopavesho me purastat avirbhavva. The distinction between the Lord and the living entity is definitely experienced when there is sufficient intelligence to understand his internal potency as distinguished from the external potency by which he makes possible the material manifestation. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, now we go to six Astakam prayers. चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमः दावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मास्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्. नाम्नामकारि बहुधानि च सर्वशक्तिस्तत्र अर्पितानि अमिता स्मरणेन काला एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन्ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशमिहा जानिनानुरागः. त्रिनादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना मानिनाम् अनदेन कीर्तनया सदा हरि न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितं वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि ऐनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितं मामिषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृप तव पादपङ्कजस्थितधूलि सदृशं विचिन्तय.
Shall I read? I'm back now.
Yes, Prabhu.
नयनं गरदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमीषेण चक्षुषा प्राविशायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे. Come down, bro. Next one. आश्लिष्य वा पादरतां पिनस्तु माम् अदर्शनं मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः.
Haribo. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names, O my Lord. Out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree. Come on, bro. Than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? When will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, come down, bro. Maybe. Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Haribo. Sri Siksasakam ki jai.
Jai.
Baujan Makaraya Deshavana Kirtan Tabutana Paya Krishna Pade Premadan. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of God. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The 10 offenses against the holy name are as follows. The first offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu.
Third offense to disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version.
Fifth offense to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination.
Sixth offense is to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord.
Eighth offense is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna, one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities karma kanda.
Ninth offense, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
Tenth offense is not to have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success Krishna Prema.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and they're full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Vancha
kripa
kalpatarubhyascha
sindhyubhya cha